And so I would encourage you, if you're interested in that, come over, have a look for yourself. You can apply on our website to have a factory tour. If you are into this kind of stuff, enjoy it if you come over.
What happens when a billionaire-dollar automaker claims that no one outside its walls can dismantle a hypercar, only to have an independent builder prove them wrong in a garage? A quiet revolution is shaking the elite automotive world as Mat Armstrong defies the odds and challenges Bugatti's authority with nothing but skill and determination. This isn't just about cars. It's a battle over control, freedom, and who truly owns the knowledge to repair and rebuild. Armstrong's breakthrough challenge. In an ordinary garage, far from the glossy marquees of luxury manufacturers, Mat Armstrong achieved what many believed was impossible. He successfully split the structure of a Bugatti Chiron. This wasn't a routine repair or a quick fix. It was a meticulously documented step-by-step process that dismantled one of the world's most complex hypercars using standard tools available to independent mechanics. Armstrong's feat directly contradicted public statements from Bugatti's own CEO, who had insisted that such intricate work could only be done within the confines of the brand's specialized facilities. The implications of this breakthrough ripple far beyond one car or one builder. What makes this achievement truly remarkable is not just the technical skill, but what it represents: a challenge to the long-held belief that hypercars are beyond independent repair. Armstrong didn't have factory support, proprietary tools, or privileged access to parts. Instead, he relied on research, resourcefulness, and sheer determination to dismantle and understand a vehicle few outside the manufacturer had the authority to touch. His success struck a nerve in the automotive world, highlighting the growing demand for autonomy in repair and maintenance. This challenge became a watershed moment that resonated with millions watching his videos. It transformed Armstrong from a skilled automotive enthusiast into a symbol of resistance against the monopolistic control of repair knowledge and parts sales. Millions viewed his methodical approach and clear communication, proving that even the most sophisticated vehicles could be worked on independently. The narrative was powerful. Manufacturers don't hold exclusive control over the mechanics of their creations. Armstrong's project wasn't just about debunking Bugatti's claims, it questioned the ethics behind restricting repairs and access to parts. Why should complex machinery be so tightly guarded that independent experts cannot maintain or rebuild them? This broader question strikes at the heart of the right to repair movement that is reshaping industries worldwide. Armstrong gave this movement a tangible, high-profile example that challenges corporate resistance. The scope of his work compelled viewers to rethink conventional wisdom about the barriers manufacturers erect. His videos made a case that knowledge and patience could overcome corporate-imposed limitations, and his results spoke louder than words. Beyond the wrench turns and careful cuts, Armstrong's efforts embody a pushback against a system that traditionally limits who can work on these extraordinary machines. This moment isn't just about one car being split, it signals a shift in ownership and empowerment. While initially a story confined to automotive circles, Armstrong's work quickly captured global attention. It wasn't just car enthusiasts who followed the saga, but also allies from consumer rights groups, independent mechanics, and advocates for repair freedoms. The narrative transcended the vehicle itself, becoming a symbol of pushing back against rigid corporate control. Armstrong, in effect, became a David facing a Goliath wielding tactical and legal power. Yet, despite the success and growing community support, Armstrong remained measured and respectful. His approach was precise, avoiding personal attacks or sensationalist rhetoric. Instead, he let his work and results build a compelling case that challenged the status quo. This professional posture allowed him to occupy a position of moral and technical authority in an escalating debate with Bugatti and the automotive industry at large. This tension between individual ingenuity and corporate control became even clearer with recent moves from Bugatti's parent company, signaling a subtle but significant shift in communication. Bugatti's previous position and CEO claims. Bugatti's official stance had long been to restrict certain complex repairs and rebuilds to authorized service centers. The company's CEO had publicly declared that dismantling something as intricate as the Chiron's monocoque frame outside their specialized facilities was impossible and, by implication, unsafe. This position reinforced both the exclusivity of the brand and its control over after-sales service, creating a barrier that guarded proprietary knowledge and parts from independent access. Such claims helped justify exorbitant pricing and service monopolies surrounding Bugatti ownership. These assertions were bolstered by statements emphasizing liability and safety concerns. Bugatti leadership argued that the high-performance engineering and tight tolerances demanded highly specialized environments, tools, and training unavailable to third parties. This narrative positioned independent repairs not only as infeasible but potentially dangerous, framing service restrictions as necessary protections for owners and the vehicle's legacy. The message was clear: trust only the factory-approved ecosystem. Behind the scenes, this approach also maintained substantial profit margins on spare parts and services. Bugatti's parts prices reflect both the scarcity of components and the company's control over supply. The exclusivity justified premium charges that buyers often accepted as part of owning a limited production hypercar. Independent repair threats challenged this financial model by suggesting alternative avenues through which enthusiasts or repair shops could source parts and undertake complicated work for much less. The CEO's categorical claims about repair impossibility created a powerful narrative, discouraging outside intervention and reinforcing corporate authority. For years, this messaging went unchallenged, leaving independent mechanics and consumers resigned to factory dependence. It was not just a technical position, but a strategic defense of Bugatti's brand mystique and aftermarket ecosystem. The company cultivated an image of unassailable expertise and control that matched its hypercar status. The polished statements still contained unanswered questions which remained without solution. Industry experts believed that the impossible repair requirements actually served to restrict competition, while they enabled companies to charge higher prices to their clients. The profit motives and safety concerns created a situation which made it difficult for critics to draw distinct boundaries. Companies use their power to create exclusive access, which leads to their business objectives taking precedence over actual repair needs and educational content. Armstrong's track record of solving the so-called impossible problem proves that he can take down the complete facade which his opponents created. His research shows how public statements conflict with actual technical information. The investigation determines whether Bugatti's assertions were authentic or merely defensive measures used to preserve their exclusive service operations. This moment became a catalyst for wider scrutiny of Bugatti's practices and rhetoric. As the conversation expands, Armstrong's success feeds into a global debate with implications far beyond Bugatti's factory walls. Right to repair and industry impact. Armstrong's accomplishment has galvanized the right to repair movement, which advocates for consumers and independent shops' ability to access tools, parts, and information needed to repair their own products. While this movement has roots in electronics and agriculture, Armstrong's high-profile rebuild thrust the debate into the luxury automotive sphere, where repair monopolies have long prevailed. His work revitalizes calls for transparency and consumer empowerment in an industry historically resistant to such pressures. The challenge to Bugatti's control exemplifies broader conflicts facing manufacturers worldwide. Many companies restrict repair options through software locks, limited parts distribution, or proprietary service requirements. These practices often force consumers into costly factory repairs and diminish aftermarket competition. Armstrong's visible success in circumventing these barriers inspires both enthusiasts and advocacy groups, demonstrating the feasibility and fairness of independent repair access, even on cutting-edge machines. The impact reaches beyond economics and convenience. It also touches on sustainability and resource use. Enabling independent repairs extends product lifespans, reduces waste, and democratizes knowledge. In hypercars, notoriously expensive and exclusive, this can translate to more accessible maintenance and preservation of engineering marvels. The right to repair becomes not just a matter of choice, but of environmental and technological stewardship. Industry players watch closely as Armstrong's project gathers global attention. Manufacturers face growing pressure to balance proprietary interests with public demands for openness. Some have begun to loosen repair restrictions, sensing that resistance may backfire in an era of transparency and social media scrutiny. The automotive aftermarket is entering a new era where consumer influence may reshape traditional manufacturer dominance. The narrative surrounding Armstrong taps into wider cultural themes of grassroots innovation, challenging corporate gatekeeping. His polite, methodical approach rallies support from diverse audiences, including mechanical professionals, consumer advocates, and casual fans. The story exemplifies how modern platforms amplify individual voices, allowing David to confront Goliath with unprecedented reach. However, Major manufacturers like Bugatti face complex choices, maintaining repair exclusivity guards, brand identity and revenue, but risks alienating customers and fueling negative publicity. Embracing repair openness can cultivate goodwill and align with contemporary consumer values, but may dilute control and profits. Armstrong's rebuild sharpens these tensions, accelerating a debate every automaker must address. The ripple effects of this challenge become even clearer with an indirect, carefully timed response from Bugatti's corporate leadership. Rimac's factory tour video. Shortly after Mat Armstrong's groundbreaking feat went viral, Bugatti's parent company, Rimac, released a seemingly routine factory tour invitation that quickly drew sharp attention. The video enthusiastically invited automotive enthusiasts to visit the Rimac campus, where the Rimac Navara electric hypercar and Bugatti Tourbillon prototypes are built side by side. On the surface, it appeared to be a transparent move to engage fans and promote cutting-edge technology. But the timing, just days after Armstrong publicly disproved Bugatti's claims, transformed it into a strategic message laden with subtext. What makes this invitation unusual is how subtly it shifts Bugatti's posture, from staunch gatekeeper to seemingly more open collaborator. Rimac encouraged anyone interested in witnessing their advanced manufacturing process to apply for a tour. This gesture, while indirect, signals a possible willingness to open doors to passionate builders and independent professionals. It is neither an outright concession nor a direct offer to Armstrong, but certainly raises questions about the company's evolving approach. Observers noted that this video was posted outside any scheduled marketing campaign or product launch. The coincidence of timing suggested that Rimac was responding to pressure generated by Armstrong's rebuild in a measured, image-conscious way. Rather than publicly admitting fault, the corporation seems to be extending a hand wrapped in diplomacy, signaling openness without losing face. It's a delicately crafted move, designed to shift the narrative without disrupting established messaging. The automotive community rapidly adopted this method of communicating through multiple layers of information. The comment sections experienced a massive increase in activity because people started interpreting the factory tour as a hidden peace offering, which companies used to regain trust while they dealt with increasing public backlash. Many people thought the company tried to shift public opinion from viewing them as blocking repairs to seeing them as welcoming customer enthusiasm. The company established new brand messaging through its project, which brought Armstrong's work to public attention. The video shows Rimac staff who demonstrate their engineering skills and dedication to innovation through their high production values and technical expertise. The content maintains a professional standard, yet almost all comments about the content refer to Armstrong's rebuilding process, which shows the central problem the company faces. The promotional material, which displays advanced features, fails to capture public interest because people choose to focus on the independent builder who previously challenged the company's power. The invitation from Rimac shows the company understands modern society, which values open information and customer interaction as effective ways to build trust, while closed operations and strict rules lead to customer detachment. The factory tour showcase advanced vehicle production methods while also serving as a demonstration of cooperative work and transparent business operations. The company keeps its invitation open because it wants to avoid direct contacts with Armstrong, which would give them an escape route if he chose not to attend, or if people kept criticizing him. Even as this corporate message circulates, the reactions from Armstrong's growing community reveal the enduring tension between independent initiative and manufacturer control. Community and social media reaction. The response from enthusiasts, mechanics, and automotive experts to Rimac's video and the broader standoff with Armstrong has been swift, vocal, and overwhelmingly supportive of the independent builder. Across social media platforms, forums, and comment sections, the narrative has crystallized into a clear sentiment. Armstrong embodies passion and skill prevailing over monopolistic control. Quickly identified Rimac's factory tour as a highlight of the show, with viewers and commentators praising the authenticity and behind-the-scenes insights. Quickly identified Rimac's factory tour as a calculated public relations move, an attempt to mend fences without conceding ground. Many expressed skepticism about the timing and intent, framing it as damage control rather than genuine openness. This media literacy reflects a savvy audience attuned to corporate spin and motivated by a desire for authentic change in repair culture. The community's fervor is driven not just by admiration for Armstrong's mechanical prowess, but also by a shared frustration at systemic barriers placed by manufacturers. Conversations often highlight the inflated costs of OEM parts and restrictive repair policies, questioning why independent alternatives haven't been embraced sooner. Armstrong's rebuild serves as proof that these barriers can and should be dismantled. Social media has also amplified the David versus Goliath dynamic, with Armstrong cast as the underdog, taking on an elite automaker's closed system. This narrative resonates beyond traditional car circles, connecting with wider audiences invested in consumer rights, transparency, and technological freedom. The rebuild's transparency and ongoing documentation allow followers to witness progress in real time, adding drama and authenticity that traditional corporate messaging lacks. Notably, Armstrong's composed and professional tone earns him further respect, distinguishing him from typical contentious rhetoric. This careful communication strengthens his position and alienates fewer potential allies. Without personal attacks, he invites constructive discussion rather than confrontation, drawing supporters who value both results and integrity. Online communities use the factory tour invitation as a rhetorical foil, suggesting the event is less about welcoming builders and more about rehearsing openness while maintaining control. This critique underscores a distrust that has built up around manufacturer narratives and heightens demands for concrete changes, such as direct parts availability and formal repair support. Despite the skepticism, the dialogue sparked by Rimac's invitation keeps public attention firmly fixed on Armstrong's project. Every update becomes not just a technical milestone, but a statement challenging entrenched industry practices. The sustained engagement indicates that the issue transcends a single car or personality. It has become a movement advocating systemic reform. This groundswell of public opinion exerts latent pressure on Bugatti and Rimac, underscoring that any future decisions won't be made in isolation, but amid a vigilant and growing audience demanding accountability and access. As the community watches, hopes rise that this energy will force meaningful shifts in how automotive brands engage with independent repairers and enthusiasts. The unfolding drama now leans into questions about how Bugatti and Armstrong will navigate their next moves amid these rising expectations and evolving industry norms. Future prospects. Bugatti now stands at a pivotal crossroads, where its next moves will shape not only its own legacy, but also the broader future of automotive repair and customer trust. The indirect factory tour invitation from Rimac suggests an attempt to soften the company's image and open a dialogue with builders and enthusiasts, but this approach walks a delicate line. Bugatti must balance maintaining the exclusivity and safety standards it champions with growing calls for independence and transparency. How the company navigates this tension will influence whether it can recover from the reputational damage inflicted by Armstrong's challenge. From Armstrong's perspective, there is little incentive to accept overtures that could compromise his independence or narrative. His project thrives on proving that complex work can be done outside official facilities, and embracing formal collaboration risks blurring that message. Public perception values his position as a skilled, self-reliant builder who doesn't rely on corporate help. Acceptance of Bugatti's indirect offer could be seen as needing approval, undermining the David versus Goliath story that has rallied such widespread support. Yet, ignoring the invitation does not close the door on future interactions. Bugatti may continue expanding subtle signals of openness or gradually introduce more concrete support, such as selling parts to independents or issuing clear repair guidelines. Such steps would acknowledge the changing landscape without a full concession, seeking to rebuild trust while protecting company interests. The challenge lies in making these transitions transparently to avoid further skepticism. The broader automotive industry watches closely as this high-profile standoff encapsulates a global debate over repair rights, proprietary control, and customer empowerment. If Bugatti adapts successfully, it could set a benchmark for other luxury brands facing similar challenges. Conversely, continued resistance might hasten calls for regulatory intervention or fuel growing aftermarket competition. The stakes extend beyond Bugatti's showroom to influence how car companies engage with owners and independent professionals worldwide. The legal frameworks, together with regulatory frameworks, will become more essential when governments start requiring organizations to provide repair information together with replacement parts. The case of Armstrong demonstrates the difficulties which Martin testers face when trying to maintain intellectual property that protects their products while satisfying consumer needs. The authorities will use the publicized dispute as a base from which they will develop regulations that require better repairability and disclosure of information. Manufacturers that forecast market transformations and adjust their business operations will gain long-term advantages in future market conditions. Public support, together with community backing, serves as the main driving force which advances this matter. The build process of Armstrong is currently ongoing, which attracts millions of viewers, who now pressure Bugatti to make necessary changes. The narrative has evolved into a representation of consumer empowerment, which demonstrates how audiences who have access to information can make corporations change their practices. Companies that ignore this customer feedback will face brand decline because most customers expect companies to behave with transparency and justice while maintaining common contact with their customers. Mat Armstrong's bold rebuild has opened a door few thought possible, challenging Bugatti's control and reshaping the conversation about repair and ownership. Bugatti's careful response signals an important shift, but the future remains unwritten. If you found this story insightful, please like and subscribe to stay updated on the evolving world of automotive innovation and consumer empowerment. Hit the next video on your screen and keep watching.